Consistently being able to hit $40,000 a month as a life insurance agent requires one key trait. And today I'm going to break that down and explain exactly why you need that in order to know every month that you're going to hit 40K. My name is Trey. I'm the owner of Agent Lead Lab. In the past 3.5 years, we've helped 550 agents issue pay $40,000 a month. And on this channel, I try to break down methodologies, behaviors, and tactics that we are currently using with our clients, things that I've learned, strategies, and real life examples, and how you can hit the mark every single time. If you follow these steps, if you follow these behaviors, I cannot guarantee that it will happen, but we can put you in the best possible situation to be able to consistently, make and hit your goals. So, as always, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let's hop right into the video. Quick disclaimer, as always, these income statements that I'm making, I in no way am guaranteeing you that you will do this same thing. You have like a less than 1% chance of actually being able to do this in the life insurance space. So it can be kind of difficult, but we're going to go through what sense of urgency actually allows you to do to be able to hit your goals. All right. So let's first hop into it. Where did this come from? Right. So let's just give a little, I always like to do this, my bad. So context. All right. So here's what I paid attention to. I'm starting to, so we're building our business, right? And run Agent Lead Lab, or a lead agency is what we call it, right? And the way I'm defining it is that a lead agency is not a lead vendor. It's not a marketing person. It is a mixture or a lead marketer, or, a social media marketing agency. And it's not a life insurance agency. It's a lead agency. So we focus on generating leads, but we treat ourselves kind of like a sales agency. So we're going to provide you with scripts, training. We have a community. You're going to have dedicated advisors. It's like very hands-on. It's not just, hey, buy some leads, shut up and dial. They're super cheap. It's also not, hey, we're going to run your advertising for you. It's kind of like a blend. And it also has an aspect of like helping you make money. Here's what I've noticed for doing this for 4 years now, or coming up on 4 years. We are getting to the point where we have so many clients that we're getting reorders, people coming from different, like that were working with us before, referring more people. Like we're just growing like crazy. And the context of this is I've noticed a trend even deeper than like just the behaviors and the things that people do. I think that the sense of urgency that is in their mind at all times is actually one of the most unspoken benefits to not just hit 40K a month as an agent, but also really just to crush your goals. So what happened was I've been studying, some of the top agencies in the life insurance space. And what I've noticed is that the ones that are really, really doing well, they all have a high level of sense of urgency. Now, I didn't necessarily call it that myself, because the world I come from, I play professional football. I've been playing football since I was 6. I went Division 1. So I was already, of the 10%. Then it was like, or 1%. Then I was 1% of the 1% because I went D1. That was 1% of the 1% of the 1% because I actually made it to the NFL, right? So in my mind, sense of urgency has kind of always been a standard. It's never been preached, because in my world, you just do it or you don't do it. It's black and white. There's no gray. There's no like, oh man, there's no feelings. It's just like, when we were in college, we had to get up at 4 a.m. We had to be at lift at 5, right? We had to lift from 5 to here. We'd have practice. So we routine that practice in the morning, right? And then after practice, we would go to school. So when the rest of our school, I went to Vanderbilt University, when they were getting up at 7, 8 o'clock to go to a 9 o'clock class, we were already up for 5 hours. So by the time 9 o'clock hit, we were like, okay, we're up. And it was like, it wasn't like you didn't have a choice. Like you just had to do that. So when you live your life like that for 4 years, 5 years, some people going to school for 6 years, it creates in you behaviors and patterns that automatically your life is lived with almost a sense of urgency. Or you, at the end, when you're done playing, you don't live with that sense of urgency. Now, I just decided to carry that over to another vehicle, which was sales, then got me into doing business, which I like because I enjoy having that. Like, I like knowing, like, dude, I like discipline. I like routine. I like structure. Those things are good, but what really takes you to the next level is how you approach your day, right? So here's how I look at it. So let's look at sense of urgency for dialing. All right. Now here's what I mean. So let's say you start dialing in the morning. Now there's small little adjustments. Okay, some people will start at 10 a.m. Okay, Some people will start at 9 a.m. Some people will start at 8 a.m. And there'll be that small select few that start at 7:30, right? They're gonna do prep. They're gonna do presentation styles. They're gonna do pitches. They're also gonna have in there objection handling, anything that like sales prep. Now you could say, oh, well, I'm starting at 8 and then I'm doing that, or I'm starting at 9, I'm doing that 8:30. But here's the thing: you can actually dial, right? You can start dialing at 8 a.m. local standard time. So you know what that means? The one who has the highest sense of urgency will do all of that stuff before and start at 8. So then if they start at 8, they can start dialing from 8 to 8 or whatever their time is, right? Same thing on the back end. Ending the day, sense of urgency. One person says, okay, well, I'm ending at 8 p.m., right? Local time. But if that means if you are EST, that theoretically means that you don't just work that time zone, you work other time zones, right? So then the next thing is work other time zones. Who has the most sense of urgency? I want to make this money now, or I want to wait till tomorrow. It's like, okay, well, if it's 8 o'clock, that means it's 5 o'clock, right? And then you reverse engineer. Okay, so when it's 9 o'clock, it's 6 o'clock. When it's 10 o'clock, it's 7 o'clock. When it's 11 o'clock, it's 8 o'clock. So I can really work to 10. So theoretically, you can work from 8 to 10 every day. Now, I'm not saying you have to, but if you understand how leads work and you've watched my previous videos, or you just understand behavioral patterns and the when you're going to be able to contact your best leads, if you know you only have an hour or an hour and a half or maybe 2 max, so from 6 to 8 is the best time to get pickups, conversations, presentations for higher tier end leads, and honestly just in general, but definitely like mortgage protection, IUL. Well, people always complain, well, they don't pick up. Okay, well, when do you call them? People will say that they call from 6 to 8, but I'm willing to bet that they don't. Here's the thing, another thing. Most people, if you're dialing alone, you're hurting your sense of urgency. If you're around other people and you're working, you're better. That's why in-person offices work. If you do it virtually, you just have to be super, super diligent and have the right people, because you have to create that environment virtually, meaning that you have to get people to see, like even with my sales team, I notice like if I'm in there working with them and just start dialing, the whole energy shifts, right? So it's like, the reason I'm bringing that up is because if you have a higher sense of urgency, you know you only have 2 hours. Okay, so in this analogy, let's say you have 2 hours. So you're from 6 to 8 p.m. EST. Okay, so that's 2 hours. Then you're going to have from 6 to 8 p.m. CST. That's 2 hours. Then you're going to have from 6 to 8 p.m. MST, right? That's 2 hours. Then you're going to have from 6 to 8 p.m. PST. That's 2 hours. And honestly, whatever time zone Hawaii is in, if you really want to get saucy, like if you just really want to get saucy, then you have 6 to 8 p.m. I don't know what Hawaii's time zone, so I apologize for my ignorance here, but you get the point. So theoretically, you'd have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 10 total hours to work. Let's just say you're the person who's like, oh man, I'm just getting started and I still have to work this part-time job because whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. Cool, right? There's no excuses. This is what you can do. I get off at 5. Cool. Go home, rest, reset, start at 6. Go from 6 to 8. Right? When 8 hits, then theoretically it's really 7. So you do 6 to 7 and you just work. Now it's not a full 2 hours because theoretically you're working past that time. But yeah, you do it from 6 to 8, right? Then from 6 to 8 also central. So when 7 hits, now you're working both leads. Then when 8 hits, you're dialing off, you're going 7 to 8. Then you see what I'm saying? You're just working. You're just woo, and you start working those leads. And if you want to, you can break it down into hours. But the point is, like maybe you do 6 to 7, and then 7 to 8, and then at like 7:45 you cut it off and you book. Or maybe you go from 6 to 7 and do prezzies and you book from 7 to 8, right? Or you can create a system around that. I'm not here to tell you how, but I'm just giving you the ideas in your head on how that sense of, because most people will say, well, I'm gonna just call from 6 to 8 my time, and I don't want to stay up that late because I have other things. It's like, cool, you don't really want it that bad, and that's fine. But if that's what the reality, then just say that. Just say that that's what the reality is. Don't say that, oh, I can't, or they don't pick up, or they don't whatever. Because here's the thing: if you're working with like our leads, for example, and you have multiple time zones, for you to tell me that you dial from 6 to 8 means that you actually dial from 6 to 9, because 6 is the absolute earliest that you could start. So if I say, hey, if you're in New York or you're in New Jersey or you're in Georgia or you're in North Carolina or South, it doesn't matter. If you're in any of these Eastern time zone states and you saying that you're calling from 6 to 8, you're not really calling from 6 to 8. And I already know you're lying because you actually should be calling from 6 to 9. Because if you have any leads that are in any other time zones behind you, so let's say you have all those, but you have like a Tennessee, right? Which let's say you're doing like, yeah, Tennessee because it's split in half. Then you have parts of Kentucky. Then you have Missouri, or you have Illinois. Those are central time zone. So what that means is you can't be working from just 6 to 8. You have to be working from 6 to 9. And if you're working from 6 to 8, guess what? You're not working from 7 to 8. See, what I noticed is when I was an agent, when I was doing 15K and I started doing 25, 30K, then I hit 40K, what I noticed is I just had to change when I was working. Like, I didn't really get it. I mean, yeah, I got better at selling for sure, right? I went from doing 15 to 25 like this, or an extra like 10K a month, just based off of like how I was pitching, because then I started moving up. And then when I started working leads longer, I added an extra, 15, 20K immediately, just like off the rip, because all I did was just call people after 7. I was like, wow, this is crazy. I actually started dialing right at the time. We were dialing at 7:30. And so I started earlier rather than waiting until 9. So I got an extra hour on the back end, hour on the front end. So I put in 2 more hours. But of those 2 hours that I put in only 2 times a week, because remember, I was doing a lot of in person. So you're talking about 2 hours, 2 times a week. That's 4 hours times 4 times a month. That's only 16 hours. What I ended up doing, just so you guys have math, right? So I did 16 hours per month. And that actually increased me an extra 15 to 20,000 in commission. Now, you do math on that. My math's not the greatest. Let's do 20,000 divided by I'm not the best. Let me do my bad. 20,000 divided by 15. So I made an extra $1,300 per hour, right? $1,300 per hour. Sorry, that's not right. 16. 1.2K per hour that I gained by adding just 1 hour. So if I told you that you make an extra $1,200 just by adding an extra 2 hours per day, so you'd essentially make $2,400 more by just calling from the extra gap in the morning. So instead of dialing at 9, you start at 8 on the dot. And instead of ending at 7, you finish at 8 on the dot. Here's the crazy thing. I was only working 2 time zones. So imagine if I just applied that same methodology, because numbers are numbers. And let's say that for every hour I added, that's an extra $1,200, right? And this is how you have to think, guys. Like, if you're not breaking down these numbers, then like it's hard for you to be able to make decisions about per hour I add in dialing. Okay, that's what my number was. So if I say that I'm going to now call Mountain Standard Time leads, which I never did, and Pacific Standard Time leads, which I also never did, and then Hawaii leads. So let's just say, because it's only 1 hour, right? It's not actually 2 hours. So let me just go back and recalculate this, because theoretically, remember, you lose 1 hour on every hour. So really, let's just say I have 2 hours here. Let's add another hour. So that's 1, 2, 3, theoretically 4. Okay. So up to 4 extra hours that I'm adding per week, right? I'm sorry, per day. That's twice. Let's say I was doing my old style. That's literally 2 times a week. So that's on Monday and Thursday. So 4 times 2 is 8. So 8 times 1,200, right? Let's do 8 times 1,200. So I'm looking at adding an extra $9,600 in commission per week. $9,600 per week in commission being added by working an extra 8 hours. Now, if I'm smart, if I'm not gonna like work a schedule where I just work 15 hours a day, like I'm not saying you have to work that long. What I'm saying is that you can literally take out some parts of your day, or maybe you are dialing. Let's say that you're dialing early in the morning and you take out your 2 to 5 slot or whatever. because those are not always honestly the hottest times. Like 1 to 5, you could literally just take that time out. So if you take 1 to 5, that's an extra 4 hours, and you're getting those 4 hours back here. Now let's just say more realistically, you don't want to work every single, and it's only twice a week though. This isn't even every day. This is literally just twice a week. So if you just did this twice a week, do you understand you're making an extra $9,600 per week? Do you know what an extra $9,600 per week times 4 is? Let's do that. 9,600 times 4. That equals an extra $38,000 in commission. $38,000 paid in commission. Right? So now you go from doing 40K a month to doing $78,000 per month. And this is what I was doing final expenses and mortgage. So imagine if my annual premium was high, right? You just start doing the math by just adding hours. It's not rocket science when you look to scale, but the only way you can do that is if you have a sense of urgency. That has nothing to do with skill. That has nothing to do, like, I'm just telling you to add more hours, right? But you have to be like, yo, I got to get this done now. Instead of you saying, man, I got to wait 5 months to make this much. It's like, okay, if you make $78,000 a month based on these numbers, then the question is, you just have to do it because this is the math. That's why numbers are so big. That's why I'm about to start really going in on numbers with you all, that people that watch my content, because even with our clients, we're really hammering in on numbers. Like that's all that matters. Most people have no idea about the numbers, so they cannot grow. They're just making decisions off of how they feel. And that is the wrong way to operate a business. In any business. If you don't know the numbers, you can't grow. These are the numbers. But you have to start with the baseline of just working. Then you figure out what your sense of urgency is to get there. And you have to have it, because you could say, well, you're still going to make this money. You're just going to make it longer. The people that crush it, say they would hit 40, all they do is just compress the time that they're trying to figure out how to get their goal. It's just that simple. The quicker they can get to compressing it, the faster they get to their goal, the faster they make their money, etc. And that's how they continue to grow. But you need to have that sense of urgency. If you don't have a sense of urgency, it doesn't mean anything. It's like just wasting time. Right? So I hope this helps. Make sure that you compress the time. The people that are hitting 40K, 50K, 60K, 70K, they're just compressing time. They have more sense of urgency. They don't wait. They start dialing at 8. They end at whatever time they say they're going to end at. It's like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to hit my goal. Or they say, hey, I'm going to make 2 sales a day. Like rain, sleet, or snow, it has to work or it has to work. That's my line. So if you get that in your mind, then you say, okay, this is what I have to do regardless of how I feel. I'm going to continue to pursue towards this. And these are just the steps I have to take, right? So as always, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope this video was fruitful. I hope it was helpful in helping you understand the importance of being able to have sense of urgency. If you don't have sense of urgency, it makes zero difference. It really does. It doesn't mean anything, and it doesn't help you understand and think through how you actually want to grow, right? And you'll always say, well, I have to wait to get to this goal. It's like people come into this industry and they just work and they hit their goals like first month, 50K, 60K. It's like, how do they do that? It's like, well, you kind of just lay out the numbers and then you just look at the numbers and say, okay, this is what I have to do. And you just do it or you don't. It's pretty simple. Like that's how I explain it to people. It's not like rocket science or anything crazy. It's just what you have to do. So I hope this makes sense. If you want leads, know about leads, want to try our leads, like I said, we've had 550 agents hit 40K a month. Go to leadlabcrm.com. You can see all our different lead options, different lead programs. I hope this was fruitful. If you're an agency owner, you're doing 500K plus, or I'm sorry, 3 to 500K plus, and you have 3 to 4 agents doing 30K a month, and issue pay commissions. You'll be eligible potentially. Just go to our website, fill out our form for us to come in and do our Apex package. We charge anywhere from 5 to 10K a month for an agency, a flat rate for us to run your ads and build out your systems. If you're not good, it's just not worth your time, just being honest. We won't accept you. It's more of a headache, to be honest with you, when we do those. We don't really make nearly as much money, just being honest. That is a lot of our time. So we really like to vet people. If you buy a lot of our leads and just want to kind of get access to our leads, a little bit of a discount so we can hook you guys up and a little bit more exclusivity, We have our free partnership model. You can also apply for that. The only way you can get that though is you do have to buy leads and like make money with us. We have to see that you're good. We're not just offering that to anybody. That you write consistent business, and then we'll offer that to you. So, as always, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Have a great day. Peace.